So who here feels like their desk job, whenever they do some work at a desk, is slowly breaking their bodies down, one work day at a time? And if you were to think about your daily habits at work, are they undoing all the time and effort that you put into the gym, going to classes, doing yoga, doing Pilates, having massages, having some physio, going for a run? Is what you're doing at work undoing all the good stuff that you've been doing? And which of you has normalized stiffness and fatigue as it's just part of the job? It's just going to happen. And have you been tolerating the pains and aches your desk job creates in your body? So if any of these questions resonate with you, then you're in the right place. So welcome to the Desk Job Syndrome Fix Your Posture and Reduce Pain webinar. For those who don't know me, I'm Bruno de Jongh. I'm the Senior Physiotherapist with CBR Clinics. I'm also the Clinical Lead and CEO. And I've got over 20 years of experience. And we at CBR Clinics will help people overcome physical and mental health issues that might be hindering them from living their level 10 lives. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Our work environments have drastically changed, mostly since the pandemic. More people are working from home more than ever, and often without a proper desk setup. And that in itself has also spurred changes into the work setup at work more than ever, because I remember I used to provide chair massage for a company for 7 years. And back then, this is pre-COVID, so back then there was there were a few people with standing desks, but it was very uncommon. It was only if someone was struggling, they had a health assessment, and then it would be provided by HR. But these days, because our work environment has changed and we're working from home and we have all these issues coming up, then those practices are becoming more common at work as well. So more and more people have a standing setup, and health assessments have become more common. But if you're working from home, your office often is your kitchen table, or maybe it's a sofa. And some people, and I've had this in clinics several times, are working from their beds, literally sitting on their beds all day with their legs stretched out, leaning against the backrest, and laptop on their laps. So while having this flexibility to work wherever I want is great, it's also created a whole new wave of musculoskeletal issues that we're going to be talking about. So here's the interest myself, right? So I just wanted to frame the session today. So we're going to talk a little bit about how the work setup has changed. We're going to be talking about the top 3 desk job injuries. So what do we see most in clinic these days? And I've got some data as well for you. Good posture versus bad posture. So what does good posture look like? What does it actually mean? And then what does poor posture look like? And then and I'm going to give you some tools on how to self-assess when you're sitting at your workstation and when you're standing. So we're going to look at some pictures, and I'm going to try and help you understand and think, when I'm sitting, where's my monitor? Is it how it's supposed to be as per this picture? I'm going to also share 5 fixes that you can do today to start changing how your workstation looks at home and at work, to just give us a little push for us to take action, because we tend to tolerate pain a lot. And I know that because I see that every day in clinic. People come in and they've been having this neck pain or the back pain 6 months, 8 years. I had a client the other day, 8 years with lower back pain. Why do we tolerate that kind of stuff? Then at the end, we're going to have a Q&A. Right. So this is what it looks like these days, right? Like I was saying, we are using our kitchen table, sitting on the sofa, and working from the bed. It's just, you can do that for 5 minutes working, or I can do it for 5 minutes. I can do it longer than that. And on the kitchen table, you can probably get away with it for maybe a day. And the sofa, again, maybe a day or 2, you can get away with it. But soon enough, things are going to start creeping in. So what if at work, your setup is just as bad? Right? It's not just at home, but then at work, you are working from a laptop at work, or maybe HR hasn't done anything about your complaints, or maybe you haven't raised a complaint yet and requested a desk assessment, which you are within your rights to do. So here's a question for everyone. Who here often ends their day with neck tension, back pain, sore shoulders? So this is what we call desk job syndrome. And this is what I'm gonna try and unpack today as much as possible. Okay, so the top 3 desk job injuries. What do we see most in clinic? Lower back pain. This was, even before COVID, this was already, it's always been the most common thing, but I feel like this has gotten worse since then, especially working from home, and especially people who have kids and are working from home, because just having kids on its own, and I know because I've had kids during COVID, then my back went. And on top of that, I was working from home as much as I could. So that really triggered a cascade of symptoms for me. Luckily, I know what to do. Well, I know what to do with my own back, and I just do it, because if I don't do it, I can't function, I can't work. Lower back's always been right there at the top. However, since COVID, we have seen an increase from 26% of prevalence of lower back pain when working at a desk to 32%. Not dramatic, but been an increase. Shoulder issues, frozen shoulder, impingement, all those problems when raising the arm, it just hurts. That's become more prevalent. And in fact, they've increased by 40% since COVID. And frozen shoulder alone has increased by 30% since COVID. If you don't know frozen shoulder, if you've been lucky enough not to have frozen shoulder is basically when you're trying to raise your arm on the side, the arm just doesn't go. And it starts very painful, but you have the movement, and then slowly the movement decreases. So after a while, people can't raise the arm. It just doesn't move, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It's just like that. And it can take 18 months to go away, even with physio. So that's increased by 30% since COVID. And then neck and upper back tension. So we're seeing double the amount of neck and upper back tension since COVID, especially amongst university students studying online. That's quite dramatic, actually, from 37% to 63%. Because people don't go out, right? There's a lot less movement when you're working from home and you're studying from home. So let's talk about good posture versus poor posture. So you may have been told to sit up straight. But posture is not about holding your position in the right place all day, because that's impossible to do. Posture is about creating movement. It's about having good alignment. And it's about varying how you do your job, how you study. It's about sitting down for an hour, stand up, work for an hour, standing, or go for breaks more often. Poor posture is not just about slouching. It's about having that stiffness after work. It's about also that overcorrection. You know when you're sitting at a desk for a while and then you feel like I'm just slouching, and then you start pulling your shoulders back and you sort of puff up your chest and your belly. You can overcorrect, which means you are arching your lower back a little bit too much and pushing your belly forwards. That can also create problems and pinching on the lower back. And also lack of breaks will cause all that. Of exercise will cause poor posture, because what exercise really does, and most of you probably know this, exercise will strengthen up the muscles. Depending on what you do, say you're doing Pilates or just some gym exercise, weights, you're gonna ensure that you are keeping your body strong. And if you're keeping your body strong and in good tonus, and you probably need to work out at least a couple of times a week for you to feel that, then sometimes it doesn't even matter so much that you're not keeping your posture. Sometimes it's even okay to slouch a bit. But because you're doing all the good stuff on the side, you can kind of get away with it. But then this is the question I asked at the beginning. Is your desk job undoing all this good stuff, so you just have to do a lot of workouts suddenly just to counteract all the desk sitting that you're doing? That it can lead to a lot of energy waste and time waste as well. Because if you weren't sitting so much, you probably didn't have to exercise as much. It's great to exercise a lot, but some people don't like to exercise and they do it because they have to. Because if they don't, they will just be in pain. And I'm probably in between those. I used to love exercising. These days, I'm a little bit slower. I'll do it. I enjoy some exercising, but not too much. I sort of found a balance now. But I do it because if I don't do it, I know my neck starts going out. My lower back starts getting uncomfortable. And then what also causes poor posture is just a poor ergonomic. Again, wrong sitting, certain positions. Over years, it will create changes in your body. And a lot of the time, those are irreversible. Right. Wrong sitting posture. So this is what a lot of people do. They sort of sit in the middle of the seat, sort of more in front of the seat on the edge. They have no arm support, so they're holding their shoulders up because they don't have arm support on the chairs. The elbows are kind of floating there. And then maybe perhaps the monitor is a bit too low. So again, they're having to sort of lean forwards. So you will start you can see that line on that drawing there, the line that goes from the top of the head to the neck, around the back. It's all sort of, there's lots of curves in there and lots of angles that are not very straight. They're not 90 degrees. We've got a 90 degrees on the knee there, but in relation to the rest of the body, that just doesn't look good. Now with the laptop, this can be even worse. I've got a laptop here next to me, and the top of the screen of my laptop is hitting here around my chest. This is pretty much what we see here on this picture. The top of the screen of the laptop is sort of just below her neck or just above her breasts. So she's having to look down quite a lot working on that laptop. And then again, let's assume this is working from a kitchen table. No arm supports. I mean, the whole thing is horrendous. So let's assess this workstation. So I've got this other picture here. I don't know if you can read all that, but we can see the lines at least, and that's what matters. So let's start from the top. So screen height. So what we want is the top of the screen in line with your eyes. That's going to make sure that if you're sitting straight and right back against the chair, and we can see this on this picture here, this person sitting right back against the backrest. If you're sitting like that, you want the screen in line with your eyes. Arms, elbows on arm supports. So if you're working from a dining chair, then you can get away with it if you're not long there. But there, only work a couple of hours a day, then you in meetings where you're not typing or you're traveling to work or whatever, you can get away with it. But if you are sitting for 8 hours like most people, this is going to become an issue. Because if you don't have the arm supports, you're going to start lifting your shoulders and then neck pain. And you can see here on this arm support that it needs to be in line with the desk. So you got to adjust it. Ideally, your chair has this. You adjust it so that it's in line with your desk, and it can't be, once your elbows are resting, you can't be like this, right? You have to have your shoulders down. It needs to be all quite relaxed, and it needs to feel like the armrests are just an extension of the desk. Right, your chair, you gotta have a bit of lumbar support. So if you're sitting right back and it just feels like it's arching a bit, almost making you slouch into it, then you probably don't have enough back supports. So that needs to be there as well. A good ergonomic chair is going to have all this that I'm telling you. And then if you don't have this at work, I'm going to give you, tomorrow you're going to get another email with a checklist on all this. And if you're already spoken to work, didn't get anywhere, you can give them that checklist and say, and then they can action that. So I'm supporting in line with the desk. So I already talked about that. You got to be able to adjust the height of the chair. Because, and this is mostly if you are very tall or very short, then you're going to have to adjust the chair. If the chair comes up, the armrest, do they need to come up or down? The desk needs to come up or down? And if your desk is unadjustable, the desk might have to be the constant, or rather the thing that doesn't change, and you fit the rest around the desk, because you can't move the desk. It is what it is. If the desk can move up and down, then you got a bit more wiggle room there on the other stuff. Then there are no constants. Everything can change, just needs to be adjusted. So your legs, ideally what you want is your knees. So you can see that the knees on the picture, they're not straight with the hip. They're slightly below. That's what you want. If your knees are above, in line or above your hip line, you might start getting hip flexor stiffness. So that's in front of the hip. You know, you got your hip bones. Just there, below the hip bones, you got a lot of muscles and tendons going down to the thighs. People start getting tension around there. If those muscles start getting tight, they will pull on your lower back as well. So we gotta have the knees slightly below, keep those muscles relaxed. And you gotta get your feet on the floor. So, and this is where, if you're too tall or too short, you might have to adjust. If you're too short, you're definitely and you need to raise your chair because your desk at a certain level, your feet are not going to touch the ground. So you need some support, and you can just about see that there's a little division between the desk and that foot support. Is not an extension of the desk. It should be a different color. But you need something, a wedge. And it needs to be an angular wedge so that your feet are not flat on it, but sort of not 45 degrees, maybe just like 15 degrees on it. That's what you will have to adjust. So this is what you can use this tomorrow when you get that checklist to check yourself at home. What I always say to people is, in clinic, I say to them, get your partner or someone who's in the house with you to take a picture of you sideways and send it to me, and I'll have a look. So this is something you could do. You're going to take this, you're going to receive this tomorrow. You can get someone to take a picture of you sideways, and then you can look at that and just see, that's in line, that's not in line, I need to fix this, this is good, this is, and then so it goes. What about if you're standing? If you have a standing setup at work or at home, what do we need to do? So you gotta, the eye level is the same. Your arms, you want your forearms parallel to the floor, so you don't have elbow support here. And this is probably where I'm gonna say you don't want to stand all day, because you can see on the picture this fella is resting his wrists on the table. You can do this for a while. Soon it's gonna start bothering you. And also you might start lifting your shoulders. And this is where I talked about variability. You want to sit, you want to stand, you want to sit, you want to stand, and never be in the same position for long. So because when people are standing, we're assuming they don't stand for long. This is okay. Stand on both feet evenly. I have a terrible habit of standing on my right leg. I wouldn't. So if you do that, don't change to the other leg and start standing on the other leg just to make up for it. Don't do that. Just stand on both feet at the same time, evenly. And like I said, you want to alternate sitting 1 hour, standing 1 hour. So you gotta, say you get a standing desk tomorrow. You want to build up to it. Don't stand an hour straight away, because it's just gonna be difficult in your mind. Your feet might get uncomfortable, all that. The advice I always give is do 10 minutes, stand up for 10 minutes, and then sit for 50 minutes, and then do that again. Every 50 minutes, so every hour, you're standing for 10 minutes. And some of you, maybe 10 minutes is too much, because it's just not comfortable. You're not used to it. You've been working sitting for 10 years, maybe longer. So suddenly standing to do this, it doesn't feel quite right. So just build up to it. You need to start with 5 minutes every hour, fine, 10 minutes, and then you want to build up, and then 15 minutes. So you do this for like a week or two, and then another week or two, increase the time for by 5 minutes. Then another week or two, another 5 minutes, so then 15 minutes. Eventually, you want to be doing an hour. I wouldn't do standing more than an hour. There's just no need for it. Okay, let's talk about solutions that we can apply today. What can we do? So I've got the five tips here for you. First thing, actually, before the 5 fixes, this is the solutions that you can implement if you're at home. Even at work, you could do this. If you're working on a laptop and you want to, and there's no other choice, you don't have a desktop. But these are the solutions for laptop that you can have. You can have a razor. Most of you probably have seen this, the picture on the right. And the picture on the left, it's like a replacement. If you don't want to get a standing desk, or work doesn't want to get one, you could get something like this, because a standing desk, a few years ago, it was £1,000. I don't know how much it is now. If you get an adapter like this, it will cost £200 perhaps. The only thing is that my clients of mine who have got this, they said that it is bulky, and once you get all your stuff on it, you don't want to take it out. So if you're working from your dining table, this might not work, because you need to clear everything, and then you need to fold this and some of these, they don't take much space. It's an option that you could use. And if you're gonna work, if your only choice is to work from your laptop, you gotta have a separate mouse and keyboard, because if you put this razor there, you can't be reaching the screen like that to type. It's gonna mess up your shoulders completely. But whenever you're working from a laptop, raise the laptop. And if this is not a solution for you right now, you can always get some books, put underneath the laptop, raise the laptop, get a separate mouse and keyboard, and then the screen is higher. You don't use the laptop or the trackpad. You got a separate mouse and keyboard. Those are some solutions for laptops. So 5 fixes you can do today. So one thing you can do, you can adjust your screen height. So whatever your setup is, if it's a desktop, if it's a laptop, you can put books underneath. Like I said, you can get a laptop raiser. That's something you can do straight away. And it's quite easy to assess. You don't need anyone to take a picture of you for you to see. I can sit here on my screen and I can see my screen. It probably needs to be a little bit higher than it is at the moment. So you can easily do that one. Separate mouse and keyboard if you're on a laptop. Just because you need for it to be far enough, and it's going to be raised as well. So you need to have your arms right at your elbows right under your shoulders, so you're not reaching out, because if you're reaching out, it's going to start affecting your shoulders. If you're in a chair, if you're in a dining chair, or if you are in quite a good chair, I'm actually on quite a good chair here, but the lumbar support's not amazing. So you can put a cushion behind. You just sort of prop you up a little bit, and then you're not overcorrecting your back. Take small breaks, maybe every 30 minutes. You know, one thing I like to say to people is have a bottle of water next to you and just drink all the time. Lots of tea, you have lots of coffee. There's some research now that says, they keep changing their minds, right? But there's a research now that says that you can drink as much coffee as you want. It's not harmful to your health. So whatever you want to do, drink, because then you need to get up and go to the toilet. What I'm saying? Have short walks. So mid-morning, just go out, have a little short walk. If you're having lunch, have your lunch and then go for a walk around the block and just move for maybe 10 minutes if you're at home. Even if you're at work, just go out wherever work is, go around the block and just move a bit. And a daily exercise routine. But like I said, exercise, so it's probably a different webinar. But as we grow old, we start losing muscle mass faster than we're younger. 30, you start losing muscle mass at around 35, I think. 40, you start losing a little bit faster. 50, faster. 60, faster. 70, even faster. So it's faster and faster and faster. So if you stop, depending on your age, you're going to lose a lot faster than you would like to. That will lead to several problems. It can lead to heart problems as well, increased risk of stroke, all that stuff. Not to mention physical pain. So you have a choice. We have a choice. We can choose to be active for the rest of our lives, or we can take medication. But which one do you think is going to be more beneficial and is going to ensure that you enjoy your life more? Taking medication, not exercise, not bothering with exercise, or exercising and then taking any medication. Did a podcast with one of my clients. It's live already on everywhere, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. I think Nigel is 71, 73. He takes just statins and he exercises like 5 days a week. I think it does every day, actually. Great. Okay, thank you. Short yoga or Pilates. So this is my go-to. So every 4 days a week in the morning, I'll do 10 to 30 minutes of yoga. So it depends what time I wake up. 10 to 30 minutes yoga just on YouTube. Put one on. I do it. And that saves my back, keeps me pain-free. It works for me. Just finding what works for you and then just doing it. So have some structure, whatever the structure is going to be. I quite like classes at the gym because then people make a commitment. They just book the class and then they go. Have a commitment so I go to a class every Wednesday morning and every Friday morning. And that helps me become accountable for my health issues. Going to the gym, whatever the routine is, choose something that you don't hate. If you hate exercise, just choose something you don't hate. Swimming, playing tennis, there's running, yoga, there's Pilates, lots of stuff. Just pick one. But what's next? Take action to get you out of pain, out of bad posture, to avoid problems later. So do a self-assessment. So like I said to you, I will send you something tomorrow with boxes. You just check, done. Request an ergonomic assessment from HR. So if you haven't done it yet and you're struggling, what are you waiting for? Just do it. Just call them, email them, do whatever you need to do to request an assessment, because work needs to provide you with work needs to provide you with an environment that is safe and non-harmful to your health. So work needs to provide you a safe environment. If it's causing problems, you need to raise it. So don't wait for it. Start an exercise routine. What is it going to be? Is it going to be some YouTube yoga, 10 minutes? Is it going to be joining a gym, going swimming? Is it going to be that you're just going to walk? Every lunchtime, you're going to walk for 10 minutes, whatever it is. So what they say as well is for you to get out of, if you're sedentary, for you to get out of the sedentary bracket and become active, you need to exercise half an hour a day. Now, you don't need to do the full half an hour in one go. If you do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, you're not sedentary anymore. So if you walk into the train station, if you walk into work, cycling, whatever it is, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. You're doing 5 minutes and 5 minutes, or top it up with a online yoga something, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Just to top it up, whatever it is. So if your pain hasn't improved from all these adjustments that you're doing, then you also want to take action and you want to look at what is it that I haven't done yet? What box have I not ticked yet? So if that's the case, booking an initial consultation with, we're local to quite a few of you because most of you are our clients. So we are in Waterloo, Elephant and Castle, Canary Wharf. We also offer a complimentary 15 minutes consultation, which means you come in, you will do a brief history. Why is this happening? How long has it been? What makes it worse? And then we'll do an assessment right there on the spot and just tell you, so based on everything that we're seeing, this is what I think is happening, and we can do this, 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 and that. And then you can make an informed decision if you want to proceed or not. So all this is going to be on your brochure that you receive tomorrow if you want to book a consultation of 15 minutes, whatever it is. But we are also providing for the next month, for June and July, we are offering people a free exercise session. So we have 15 spaces for clinical Pilates 101 in clinic, and 10 spaces for body mastery is still available. Body mastery is strength and conditioning. So it's almost like personal training, but with the physio's eyes on you. And a little bit more tailored to what do we want to prevent? What do we want to achieve? So it's like PT, but 10 times better. So we've got those two offers at the moment. Those two sessions are an hour each, which means you're going to get a bit of an assessment, a bit of chatting at the beginning, but you're going to get about 40 minutes of workout. And then you can see if this is something you want to invest on or not. Valid for June and July only. I think that's it. Okay, so that's it for those slides. Let me go through. So we are going to do the Q&A. Let me just pull this question up. Fahad, do you mind explaining what your back problem is? I also have a history of lower back pain, disc issues, so would appreciate any tips you may have. Okay, so my back problem is not terrible, mostly because I don't let it go very far, or have never allowed it. But I've had children in 2020, twins, during COVID, so I couldn't go to work. I was sitting on the floor a lot, and then carrying a lot, and you're changing diapers, and you're leaning, and then I wasn't exercising because gyms were shut, trying to do stuff at home. I was just not quite in the routine. My back just started to hurt bit and get a little bit stiff, but it was more muscular than anything. And this is very common. If you guys have kids, or you've had kids, you might find maybe this has happened to you guys as well. I've got quite a few. I'm seeing 3 clients at the moment. I don't see loads of clients these days. I probably see like 10 a week, maybe less. I've got 3 clients that I'm treating that have lower back pain, and their parents, and then like new parents. One has a 3-year-old, the other one has actually 4 clients. The other one has a newborn, and so it goes. And it's all the lifting, routine goes out the window because priorities change. So that happens. But yeah, that's it. I think for me, the trick is like stay on top of it, and then it doesn't go anywhere. And I know what I need to do. I need to do yoga, I need to stretch because I get stiff. So I just need to twist, do lots of twisting exercises, and that makes my back better. Yeah. Anything else, guys, in terms of questions? So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've taken away at least one thing that you can start doing straight away. And I think at 11 o'clock tomorrow, there will be something going out. These are conversations I feel weekly with my clients. So I thought, let me just do a webinar so people know everything. And remember, guys, movement is medicine. Small changes lead to big improvements. So look after your body, because that's it. It's the only place you have to live. Okay? Thank you so much for attending, everyone. Have a good evening, enjoy the heat, and I will see you all next time.